Welcome to another Leon Charney report, and I'm sure you're all bombed out by all the inauguration pictures by 2 million people and the Lincoln Plaza, by the fact that his wife had a gown on by some who knows what, but that the fellow, or who is, or the designer is, will become a millionaire. Obama looks strong and tough, and he's a basketball player, so we all love that. And now he's got to go to work. One of the things we'll talk about later on the show, Oriel Hyman will be here from JTA, which is the Jewish Telegraphic Agency, was the fact that George Mitchell was appointed as the Middle East negotiator or ambassador or player or whatever you want to call it. We'll go into depth about that because I know a lot of people are very anxious about Obama, Israel, and Hillary Clinton. But before we get to that, we have to talk about economics. And we have Simon Constable on here, who's with Dow Jones, and he, of all things, by the way, in his prior life, worked for General Motors. And I'd like to talk to him about what he thinks the automobile industry should get from the government or should not get from the government. You're not related to them. You have any stock in General Motors?
Absolutely not.
And you're emphatic about that.
Absolutely not.
So should the United States bail them out?
I don't think so. What was amazing to me is before the holidays, GM said, we want some money from the government. They got some. And then
got a bridge loan.
They got a bridge loan. And then immediately in the new year, one of the big guys there, Fritz Henderson, says, I think we might need some more, which is what a number of us have been saying all along, is don't give these guys any money because basically you might as well burn it because you ain't going to see it again. What I've always thought with General Motors is it needed to go through some sort of reorganization, like a Chapter 11 reorganization, and that's where you go before a bankruptcy judge and you get some of your debts and some of your contracts renegotiated. So the bondholders take it on the chin a bit, and maybe some of the union contracts will be reduced a little bit, and you know that's a sort of reorganization that you do.
Well, why don't they do it?
Well. They should. First of all, they should have done that, and
but they
didn't. And one of the things that the management over there, Rick Wagner and the crew, were saying was, look, no one will buy cars from a quote-unquote bankrupt company. Now, although Chapter 11 is technically part of the bankruptcy code,
it's a reorganization.
It's a reorganization,
right.
And they were spinning that amazingly as we don't want to go through this. And I think it's because they didn't want to be in front of a bankruptcy judge who might actually start to talk sense, rather than Washington, D.C., where you've got politicians who, may believe the kind of smoke that's being blown their way.
All right. Will they be saved by the government or not?
I hope. Well, I don't think they deserve to be.
No, but do you think they will be?
No, I don't think so. I think we end up in the same place as we would have done, minus our money, your money and my money.
The bridge loan won't get repaid?
I don't think. I think it's a type of loan you get from your parents that you thanks, I'll pay you back, as if. And it never happened.
Well, okay, Obama's riding in a Cadillac. Will he be able to service that in 2 years through General Motors?
Well, I think what ideally will happen with General Motors is that it gets, the component parts of it get snapped up by maybe foreign manufacturers that are domestic to the U.S., if you like Toyota and Honda and Nissan. They manufacture here with American workers.
So they're going to sell the brand?
Yeah, that's what I would suggest that they do. There's nothing wrong with the workers, and there's basically not massive amounts wrong with the cars that can't be fixed in a big way. So the Cadillac, yes, of course it'll be able to be repaired,
Cadillac, I've said this 10 times already, that China has more Cadillacs than any other car. It's the prestige car in China. So they do well around the world, General Motors, but not too well in the United States. But the peripheral or the effect of a General Motors going out of business or changing its modus vivendi or operandi means that a lot of people will lose jobs. A lot of people who have homes will lose their homes. I mean, you have a spiraling effect here. A lot of parts people will lose theirs.
Well, the way Rick Wagner and the team at General Motors and also some of the other auto execs and leadership have been really playing that up massively. They've been sort of making out like it's going to be a complete liquidation and that basically you're turning the lights out on the Midwest if you go through a reorganization. I don't believe that will happen. I believe that, yes, some people will lose their jobs. Certainly management needs to lose their jobs, and that may be across...
Management's nothing. So,
Well, it may be 20,000, 30,000 people throughout Detroit and the upper Midwest. there may be some union workers that lose their jobs, but the vast majority could save their jobs if these companies were being run by people who knew what they were doing. And maybe that's Honda, and maybe that's Toyota.
So Simon, are you the only guy on earth that knows this?
No, I think a lot of people know this. I think a lot of politics is being talked, and obviously we've had an election, and politics is, that's the time to talk politics.
Obama's a Democrat. He came in with help of union help. There's no question about it.
No question.
Democrats stand for unionization. Will he be able to allow something like the United States car industry to go into a reorganization or a total, maybe a half collapse?
Well, I hope he will, but it needs to be sold correctly and appropriately to the American people. And I think
so you think Tim Geithner can do it if he can't pay his taxes?
I think they need to get someone to communicate this. We have a very good U.S. auto industry. The cars being made by Toyota in the U.S., by Honda in the U.S., by American workers doing a great job.